And so I know the speakers have no idea what order they're going to go in, but that's okay. Um, so hey y'all, I felt like this was one of the best conferences I've ever been to. I just felt there was so much vision casting and just showing us what Bravenly could be, and the trainers were top notch, and I felt like the whole company, I'm going to give my spiel at the end. I'm just giving a small one here. But I feel like the whole company is coming together as a team, like we're Team Bravenly. It's not this person's team or that person's team. So I just love that the whole company came together to share everything. And my first conference back in 2022, there was less than 200 people. Like the people that trained the conference, I had three executive directors on my team train at conference and one senior director was training our first conference. Okay, so this conference was like mainly EVPs and above, just to show you how far we've came as a company. And I know Suzanne's been to several conferences and Holly, and they're going to share a little bit, about that. But Bravenly is literally like a rocket ship. It's taken off like crazy. We filled up a room. We had over 1,500 people. The last conference was 400. So 1 year ago there was 400. This time we had 1,500. Pretty soon we're going to be filling up stadiums. All right. If you don't talk to your neighbors, somebody else is going to talk to them. So I don't want to steal all these ladies' thunders. So is Angel available yet? Um, I might just go straight into letting some of the speakers speak and then we can turn it back over to Angela because I think she's driving. But I'm going to let Ruth go first. Guys, and I hate to put Ruth on the spot, but Ruth has never done network marketing ever. This was her first conference. She just knows that we said, hey, if you want to be successful, you got to get to conference. And she went to conference. And with that being said, Ruth, I would love for you to tell us what you got out of conference, what it's done for you, that fire that's been put in your belly. Would you mind sharing that with all of us?
Of course. So again, as Glenn said, my name is Ruth. I am a mama of two teen girls. I work full time as a nurse at our local surgery center, and I'm just so thrilled to be here after the conference. Looking at this through like brand new eyes to network marketing, like, I had done some digital marketing online before this, but this whole network marketing thing is brand new to me, honestly. So seeing one of the biggest things at the conference that was really inspiring to me is to see how many of the top leaders, it kind of makes you wonder, like, how did they get there? Like, how did they do this? And it was really humbling for me to see that a lot of the big leaders do have experience. A lot of the big leaders have done network marketing for a long time because it's easy to sit there as a new person and be like, oh my God, she's so amazing. How did she get here? And then to hear, all of the different speakers share their stories and how inspiring that was that they were just like me. They were at the bottom once, and it just was super inspiring as a beginner because it gave me so much hope. It gave me just a different outlook on how everything works in the world. And I just wanted to share like my key takeaways from the conference because being brand new, there's so much to learn, but it's a lot more comfortable when you realize like no one was good at this in the beginning. No one had success in their first month, well, except for the Amish. They're the exception. But so key takeaways for me for this conference is the theme for the conference. It's come as you are. Like as I mentioned, I was in digital marketing and it's like you got to be this, you got to go live, you got to do that. Everything seems like there's so much pressure to be perfect when you're, creating a post or you're going live. And that just resonated so much with me personally because I'm sitting there in that audience, brand new with big dreams. I have this deep calling inside of me. I don't know where to take this, but here I am speaking in front of you right now. And what I want to inspire everyone here to do, because I know there's newer people on here, I know there's leaders on here, but one of my big takeaways was like try seeing yourself as someone who admires you. They see your true potential, they love you unconditionally, and they want nothing more than your happiness. That's the way that you need to see yourself, right? Like, don't worry about so much. I'm also currently reading The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, which was actually mentioned during the conference as well. And it's just talking about ways to reframe your mindset. Like, stop giving so much of your power to others. Focus on you, your work, and how you feel. As long as you're happy inside and you're fulfilling your dreams and you're keeping your promises to yourself, that will allow you to reclaim your time, your freedom, your mind and your energy, and you can use that to like chase your goals. And so that was just so cool to hear and see from, top leaders in the company. And another thing is, that being said, like somebody said, use positive self affirmations. um, like what stuck to me personally, because I have two daughters and they're both teenagers, and I'm always constantly trying to inspire them to be better, And one way that was really helpful for me to like come up with some self affirmations was when someone said, "What would you say to your daughter if you were trying to inspire her and speak life over her?" Well, pick three of those favorite self affirmations based on that. Write them out. When you get up in the morning, first thing, do your self work. Write those down at least 3 times each. Pick three of them. Write them down 3 to 5 times each every morning, first thing when you wake up. That's going to inspire you to go about your day in a way and start your day out in such a strong way. And then eventually you're going to memorize these, right? They're going to be embedded in your head so much that you can go in your mirror every morning. You'll know these so well, there'll be so much in your heart that you can look yourself in the mirror and say, look yourself in the eye. Like, how often do you do that other than when you're putting your mascara on, right? As a woman, like, look into your own eyes and speak them to yourself. So repeat them to yourself until you just believe them, and you will start to believe them. And, another thing that stood out, it was, what if my obedience is tied to someone's life-changing transformation? That, like, whoa. That inspired me to just really work hard in this, give it everything I have, and investing everything that I have in believing that I am worthy to do this. Another thing that stuck out was when someone said, if you're not happy with your business today, what does your calendar look like? Bam, straight to the heart, straight to the heart. Because of the fact that I have self-doubt, just like any other human being on this earth does, I have, looked at people that are doing this and looked at people online and seeing how amazing they are on the stage. And I've told myself, like, that there's the teach versus torture, right? That was another thing. When someone said, like, wow, look at her up there. She's so incredible. She's so successful. And then, what can I learn from her? What can I learn from her? And that's what I took from it. And then, but I was on the other side at times, and I would say, wow, look how beautiful and confident she is. She's so strong and so amazing. I can never be like her. That's self-destructive. We've got to stop doing that to ourselves. Come as you are. Be proud of who you are. Know that you're worthy. And, if you can take and adapt, and you will be. I'm just kidding. But write down what you want to be known for. Develop a sustainable routine for you, what works for you in your life, because it was also humbling to see the PA, and I'm sorry, I'm so bad with names and remembering them. I should have written them down, but she was really inspiring to me too, because she has 2 kids. She's a physician's assistant, or associate now, as they say. Um, she's developed something that works for her, and she's just killing it. She's killing it. And I'm just so, so, so inspired, because as someone new, you have all of these insecurities and doubts, and really it's all about coming as you are. And so this is my story. It's not going to end like this. I want to do something more than not just being a nurse, but I want to make a bigger impact. I'm dreaming bigger. So, you know, sharing my vision with others and what I'm dreaming about in my future, I think is going to be the most inspiring thing. And then as you're posting and, talking in your stories, just remember, like, share your vision, be vulnerable, share your weaknesses, show people that you're just a normal human being like they are too, because then they're going to be inspired to join you. And be so authentically you, that others feel safe to be themselves too. So it's not just about Bravenly. It's not just about these products. It's just like, it's our job to share the message, right? We're not here to convince people of anything other than to believe in themselves, and manifest it. So those were my main takeaways. And that's what I'm trying to like base my life of right now. So thank you to everyone who was there that supported me while I was there and hugged me and just made me feel like I was welcome.
Thank you, Ruth.
Thank
Man,
you.
I wouldn't mind listening to you another 30 minutes. So,
Good.
thank you for sharing that, Ruth. That was incredible. Y'all, Ruth has never done nowhere marketing. She went to conference. As you can see, she's lit on fire. Like, that was absolutely incredible. You're going to be a star here, Ruth, and we're excited to have you on the team. Woo woo. All right. Yep. Okay. Next, let me pick on. Okay, I'm gonna pick it. Reagan, you were in the lineup, right?
Yes, I am.
All right, Reagan. Man, it was so nice to finally meet you, Reagan. Like,
I
we've been
agree.
online buddies for a hot minute, and just getting to meet you in person was awesome. Your husband's amazing. You're gonna do awesome things here, and I cannot wait to hear what you got out of the conference.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. We had a really good time. It was really nice to put community with names. I talked to so many people every single day. Colleen, Suzanne. I don't know who else is on. That's just who I can see right now. Kristen, I've talked to a couple times. I mean, it's just really nice to actually get to go to these things and actually meet people, like you said. Glenn, like getting to meet you. I've worked for Angela. I'm her virtual personal assistant. I've worked for her for almost 2 years this summer. And this is the first time I've ever gotten to meet her. So it was just really cool. So I actually wrote down my main points because I didn't know how long we would have. So I just wanted to write down my main points. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through them. And if anybody has any questions, then just go ahead and stop me. The first thing and the most important thing to me that I learned at this conference was to quit letting other people define your success and your self-worth. If you're letting other people define who you are and you're worried about judgment and you're worried about what the next person is thinking of you, what somebody thinks of your post, then you're not going to make it in this because you're going to be too busy comparing yourself to everybody else and you're not going to be doing the business the way that you should be. Anyone can work this business, anyone. And anyone can work this business and be successful no matter where you came from. You can come from rags and you can go to riches. We heard that more than once this weekend. I mean, we've got people who were like in debt up to their eyeballs. If you've ever heard Glenn's story, I mean, he's paid off hundreds of $1,000s in debt. So you don't have to come from money. You don't have to come from an education. You don't have to have a junior degree, like a college degree. You don't have to have anything. You could come with a GED and still make this business work for you and still be just as successful as the top people in this company. Success is created by you and you only. If you choose to treat this like a hobby, then that is exactly what it is going to be. But if you want to be successful, then you have to treat it like a business. You have to run it like a business, period. This is not a hobby. And if it is a hobby, then that's what your paycheck is going to reflect. If you're just going half in, then you're going to get half out. But if you go 100% in, then you're going to get probably 100% plus more. So your attitude and the way that you wake up and the way that you approach this will determine your success and how big your paycheck is. And another really cool thing that came out of this conference that I've never really thought of it, one of the coolest things, and I think this will be super cool, is when you get your first paycheck and it looks like a phone number. And that was said, Ricky said that. And I just think that that's amazing. And if you have any vision at all in your mind, imagine getting a paycheck that looks like a phone number. That's 7 digits. You can work up to 30 minutes a day. This was also said, 30 minutes. You can work up to 30 minutes a day and still be successful in this business, as long as those 30 minutes you spend working this business are intentional. I mean, that's it. You just have to have a plan, go in, do what you need to do to make your connections. But there were plenty of people that were there this weekend that said that, you can, and it also goes back to what I just said, you can work as little or as much. You will not move up if you compare your journey to others. It is your journey, no one else's. Be authentic, tell your story. No copying and pasting anymore. Get real with you and your network and your followers. Be willing to share your story, all of it, because our stories are what sell. People don't buy our product. People don't buy what we're posting, they buy what we're saying. They buy what we're selling through our stories, through our words, through our testimonies, through our clients' testimonies. This company, Bravenly, is real. This is, there's nothing like it. And I saw that. I've been to plenty of these types of conferences before, from Malaluka to, I've dabbled in network marketing before, not a whole lot. I never really got serious about it, but I'm more serious in Bravenly than I ever was in any of my other companies. And I was only in a handful. So, and I just grew up in them. My mom did Amway. So I've been blessed to be around a lot of stuff. You can choose to build your business in so many different ways. As we heard this weekend, the Amish have built businesses with no electricity, no phone, no social media. You can do face-to-face, you could do sip-in socials. Like, there's so many ways. You don't have to do any of that. You can just do what I've done this whole time and just stay on Facebook. But you have the opportunity to get out and get in people's faces and do this business and start posting things in your home if you want to, or you can just do it how we've been doing it post-COVID, and that's up to you. So I really like that aspect of the training, is that so many people have built this business in so many different ways. Sorry guys, there's not a right way and there's not a wrong way to make this business work, as long as it's working and as long as you're working it. And then I think Glenn said the same thing just a minute ago, but here's the deal. If you do not ask someone else to look at our business, somebody else is going to ask them to look at the business. And it might be somebody in your upline. It could be Glenn. I mean, it could be Suzanne. It could be Colleen. If you don't ask the question, somebody else is going to ask the question. Get out of your head and learn to accept rejection, because you're going to be rejected in this industry, period. It's going to happen. I can't remember how many times Angela asked me to join this business. I said no. I said, I'm not even willing to stick my toe in this business. I'm not doing network marketing. I'm done. I've been burned. I've been hurt. I've been shattered. I was ripped off. No, I'm not going to waste my time. And it took her a while for me to jump on, and here I am. So Glenn always tells me this: no does not mean forever. No means right now. No means right now in this moment. Don't write those people off. Build relationships with them. Go comment on their content. Get in their inboxes. Make sure that you're just staying in touch with these people. Make sure you're staying active on their Facebook pages. But no doesn't mean no forever. And that's always been really important to me in this industry. And it was also something that we talked about this weekend. And then the next thing I want to say is get to the conferences. I don't care how you get to these conferences. Right now, all that matters is, and if you can't buy your ticket by February 28th, don't worry about it. Just buy your ticket when you can. Charge it if you have to. Figure out how to pay this trip off. Figure out how to get there later. Right now, all you need is that ticket. If you are missing out on the conferences, you are missing out on so much. And I haven't had an opportunity to travel to one until now. And I'm very grateful and thankful that Glenn was in my inbox like daily saying, Reagan, you have to go, you have to go, you have to go. And I'm like, Glenn, I can't, I have this, I have that, I have this. And he's like, it would be really nice if I could see you there and meet you face to face. So, I mean, he's right. And I got to meet so many incredible people. I got to hug people. I got to talk to people. And I brought my husband, and he's more fired up about the business right now than I am. And he understands what I'm doing, and he gets it, and he's supportive. And I'm really fortunate to have that, because a lot of people that are on our upline and in our industry don't have the kind of support that I have at home. So I'm really, really, really grateful. You need to feel the motivation, and you need to be in the middle of it. It needs to be tangible. It needs to be something within reach. It needs to be something that you can grab onto, that you can grasp, that you can hold, and that you can understand. Because until you've been to one of these conferences, you will never know what it feels like.
I think you and Ruth should go on stage one day. Great job, Reagan. Thank you for not saying no to me when I kept bothering you. So
You make it
move it.
impossible to say no. And anybody on this team can probably vouch for that.
Well, there's so much value, and you don't know what
Oh
you
my-
don't know. If you don't go to, I knew like if you didn't go to conference, that you may not be in Bravenly. Like, not to say that people won't be in Bravenly if they don't go to conference, but I just knew what it'd do for your business. A year from now, if you wouldn't have came today, we may not, just being honest, we may not have seen you again. So that's why we got to meet you. We got to see you. You got to see what we see.
100%. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate the encouragement.
Thank you, Reagan. All right, Suzanne Moultrie, come on down.
Hey, you guys, great job, everybody. You guys have all pretty much talked about most of the takeaways that I had written down. So when there's so many people sharing, I think we're all going to touch upon the same thing. But I'll go back. I'm going to piggyback off of Reagan as far as like getting to conference. This was my third conference. When I went to my first one, I was just taking it all in, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing on stage with the leaders. And I was like, I can't do what they're doing. And by the end of conference, I realized if they can do it, I can do it. And anybody can do it. And I always remembered my first conference when they said, if you don't have the confidence in yourself, go and borrow somebody else's confidence until you can get your own. And that always stuck out to me. And I remember leaving that first conference and feeling so fired up about it. And I was just telling everybody about Bravenly. And I would have to say that holds a special spot in my heart for the first conference. But I went to last year's, and then I went to this year's. And I gotta say, this year's conference was amazing. And I think it's probably the best so far. And knowing that we actually more than tripled the amount in that room this past weekend from last year just goes to show you how much we are growing. And there were so many takeaways. Like Brittany, anyone can do this. And that is what is so special about all of this, is that you don't have to have a college degree to do this. You really just have to have a desire of getting out of a situation that you may be in. It was the persistence of keep asking these, like, I can't remember the guy's name who was talking to I think it was the Amish guy, where he said, I don't want to do any zooms. And he kept asking and asking and asking. If he didn't ask him that one last time, he wouldn't, that whole organization wouldn't be there. And from what I understand, the Amish are 10% of Bravenly. So if they had just said, oh, they said no, and they would not be here. So always keep asking, like Glenn has said before, no is not right now. Keep asking until they block you, or probably some of the other words that you've said. But just keep asking and asking. And what else was the vendor events was something else that stood out to me. That that stood out to me with that whole skit, as far as, keep asking. Crystal had said, just, the one-on-one, invite somebody to go have coffee and just have one-on-one. And then next thing you know, you're going to have, you ask two people, and then the duplication, then you'll have the confidence to have an event. That stood out to me. And Carly said, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? I don't have little kids, so I'm not going to resonate with the young moms. I'm going to resonate with maybe some that are going towards retirement or whatever. So you're going to target people, right, that you're attracted to and that they're attracted to you. um Also, the paycheck without the size of the telephone number, that was huge. And one of the things that really, really, really stood out to me was that a young Amish couple can do this business with no electricity and no phone. That screams that anything that we have to say is just an excuse, because if they can do it with no electricity and no phone, we have no excuses. So get to the events, because that is what lights a fire under you. However you felt before, when you get around like-minded people, the energy is amazing. It and everybody loves on each other, and it's just like one big happy family. It is just so important to get to conference. So however you've got to get there. Because the thought crossed my mind, like, oh God, I probably had a bunch of excuses as to why I probably, shouldn't be there. But in the back of my mind, I was like, no, you have to be there. And I am so glad that I did. Because like I said, I always remember that very first conference that I ever went to, and that I saw the vision. And anybody can do this. So get out of your own headspace, and anybody can do this and get to conference. And I miss you guys. So I think that might be it. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Suzanne. We miss you too. Yeah, she's exactly right. Um, anybody can do this, y'all. And Suzanne, you're amazing. So short on time, I'm going to rush to the next person. And I think the next person on Price is Right is Holly. Is that right? Holly
I
Arnold.
guess.
Hey,
Come
tell us
on
an adapt
down.
story. Make us laugh. Tell us an adapt story.
Okay. So, well, first of all, let me say I did have notes that I was going to share. A lot of them were shared, but I'll get to those in just a second. So, adapt. Let me tell you, I am always the most skeptical person in the history of the world. If you tell me that something should work a certain way, I'm going to try it just so I can tell you that it's probably not. Truth be told. That's actually how I ended up joining Bravenly, because I didn't think the gold would actually work until it did. So adapt. I'll be very honest. I haven't showered today. Like I still have dirt on my hands, probably because I have been so productive. I have gotten more done today than I think I have, I don't know, in the history of a month. What I have found adapt to be for me specifically, yes, there is that mood boost. I can definitely tell a difference with that. On Monday, I flew through DFW, not Love Field, because I didn't read the fine print. So I went to DFW instead, but I went through that airport. Kind of a nightmare when it came to our airline, but I was like, we're good. We're good. We're good. We were all sardines on the plane. Still fine. Still fine. And then made it through Atlanta traffic, all the stuff. But literally, like, it was kind of surprising me how it was just like, water off a duck's back. I'm like, nah, that's what it is, whatever. But I can tell you the laser focused, I mean, I've tried Ignite, I've tried Brew, and I love Brew is my jam. I absolutely love it. But I tell you, the Adapt for the productivity, the focus, like I said, like the just the laser focus. Let me tell you what I have done today. I have carried water to all of my animals, the goats, the chickens, all the things. I did take time to cuddle the goats because that is very important here. I actually cooked. I cooked cooked lunch. I cooked dinner, breakfast, all the things. Like we're talking decent, not decent stuff, right? But let's talk about garden stuff. Normally, I will drag my feet with a garden. I have planted onions and garlic. I planted a whole bed of bulbed flowers, and I have put soil in pots for herbs, and I've laid like the like the paving stones in the garden. I don't even know. There's probably and then all the stuff inside the house, like laundry and all the things. I'm telling you, like this is like I get my eye on the prize and I get it done, and it's kind of blowing my mind. So there's that. I'm a fan of Adapt. I actually did have someone tell me, she was like, I can hear the excitement in your voice. I think I'm gonna get some. Let me tell you, this is a girl who maybe orders once every 8 months or something. And she was like, no, I need that. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that. So yeah, leave you a voice clip. But let me tell you some of the things, and I promise all of these tabs, I will skip a lot of them. I promise. You're probably thinking, what kind of mushrooms did she really take? Because she's talking kind of fast. And yeah, I will also tell you, I've had a lot of people say, man, you seem like really upbeat and blah, blah, blah. What kind? I'm like, no, it's medicinal mushrooms, friends. Anyway, so some of my takeaways from conference itself. I think the thing that stood out for me, I mean, there was a lot of it. The fact that it was, I mean, I think all of us could say at the core of everything, there was someone either praising the Lord or giving God the glory. And that was a big deal. I mean, I've been to several conferences before, the summits and things like that. And this was, in my opinion, probably the best one I've ever been to. All previous companies included, like this one, I feel like was the best one I think I've ever been to. And to summarize all of these little tabs, it's just action, taking action. But here's the thing. One of the things that Brittany said, her first, in her first session, it said, if you're not where you want to be, you're not digging deep enough. And I was like, ooh, that's good. The situation, your current situation, that is a result of the choices that you have made. And we all have the option to adjust those as we see fit, right? But it was just so powerful, when she said sorry, lost my page. That if we aren't where we want to be, that we can change that. I will tell you, this is my notebook that has all of my notes in it. My daughter gave me this and I took this with me. Ricky, I'm sitting beside Ricky and Ricky saw it and he was like, you like pink? And I'm like, it's from my daughter. She drew me a picture in it. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's our family. And this says, what does it say? I love you. I love you. I love you. And at first, as someone who is very like, even though I know I probably don't seem like it, I'm like, oh gosh, like it's a little bit of a messy page but no, I told Ricky, I said, this is my why. And he said, you're going to keep that notebook forever, aren't you? I said, you bet I am. Yeah. And so to have all of these notes that I have tagged here, focusing on just the concept of action. And here's some of the things that I wrote down. The fact that if you want the reward, if you want the thing, you have to act first. Remember the dog, the video of the dog just standing there and like he was kind of almost pawing at the water, but he was just too scared to actually go and get the ball. Right? If whatever it is, whatever goal it is, whether it is, health or finances or whatever decision it may be, learning to garden, you have to take the first step. And that's the thing that is so hard for so many of us, myself included, because yes, there's always going to be that thought of, oh my gosh, someone's judging me. Oh my gosh, someone is, probably thinking XYZ. But at the end of the day, I know you all have at some point probably seen this quote or meme or whatever. I've seen other people share it. It's how the only people who are truly going to be judging you for stepping out and doing any type of new endeavor are the people who have never done it. Those people who have done it they're cheering you on because they know what it takes and they know the opportunity. And yes, imposter syndrome. They know the opportunity and they know what is possible on the other side of you taking that step. One of the things I always tell my team is that, the Lord, he very clearly will open a door, right? And, it's kind of scary sometimes to walk through that door. But here's the thing, we don't necessarily have to have the skills. We don't have to know anything, about how to do what's on the other side. We just have to trust that as we walk through, he's going to equip us with all of the skill set that we need. And I mean, and if you think about Bravenly, he has equipped us with so many resources, so many skill sets, so many mentorships, so many people to help us here on the other side. All we had to do was walk through the door. And here are a couple other things that really stood out to me. And this was just like some deep kind of like, let's ponder that. Sorry, my hands are dirty. Yeah, garden stuff. Who or what are you letting impact your business? Who or what are you letting impact your business? Like, are we letting, are there things, do we have some type of insecurity that is impacting our business? Is there something that we're needing to heal from? Because that is getting in the way of us growing and developing and doing the thing here that we've been called to do. So that was one thing. And I can tell you, like, I know the Lord has led, he's called me here. And here's the thing, I'm going to keep, this is also something that someone, kind of talked about, like, I'm going to keep showing up for me. This is your business. This is my business, right? And we're going to work it no matter what our volume looks like that month, no matter what is happening that month, no matter how many no's we get or how many yeses we get or whatever, we're still going to keep showing up because we know that the Lord called us here. And just like other people have said, the fact that someone could be counting on your yes, they're waiting on you to reach out. Like, I can tell you, Renee and I were talking about this the other day. I posted about gold, and it's like a ripple effect. I posted about gold and she reached out, and then the rest is history, right? Like, it's just, people are just, they're looking truly for what we have here, whether it is the community, and our community is unlike anything I think probably most of us have ever experienced, either in the workplace or in network marketing. It's truly such an incredible place. But I think that's the long and the short. I have also found that Adapt makes me talk really fast, but I'm in the zone when I do it. So pros and cons.
Man, all of y'all are EVPs in the making. Thank you, amazing ladies, for sharing. We could drop the mic right now, but we still have Angela Campbell and myself to speak. So hey, Holly, thank you. Suzanne, thank you. Ruth, Reagan, you ladies are incredible. Hey, if you guys can't tell, Adapt is where it's at. Just listen to Holly. Like, I forwarded one of her voice clips, and a customer signed up right there on the spot. So yeah, Holly, if you want to leave us a message about everything you planted, we'll just forward that to everybody and we'll be good. So with that being said, I would like for the amazing Angela Campbell to share with everybody her takeaways.
Hey, you guys. Yeah, I was blowing Glenn up this morning. I was like, I'm sorry, I took my nap. He's like, slow your roll, dude. Like, I haven't even fully woke up yet. I was like, oh, sorry. Yeah, so okay, I'm gonna keep mine short and sweet because I know y'all hit on so many of the things I was gonna share. I was literally just compiling my notes so I can just couple things here. And because I don't know if Aaron had a couple things he wanted to share too, but I'll make it really short. Everything that they said was amazing. You guys, the biggest theme of the story, the biggest theme that I got out of the entire, every single speaker was about our story. And at the top of my notes here is, it literally says, this is not about you. And like, we have to get in our own heads and understand that this is not about us. And what we have in our hands is something to impact people's lives. And we have something super special. We are the answer to so many people's prayers out there. And we do massive disservice when we don't put ourselves out there and do it. Your story is your superpower. And it's important because there was so many stories on stage that really hit on this. Your story isn't meant to be shared one time. And I'm guilty of this because I'll share a piece of my story and I'm like, oh, that was impactful. And then I never share it again. And but the thing is people are constantly coming in your newsfeed. You need to share your story, get vulnerable, get uncomfortable. And I know that sucks, and it's so incredibly hard, and it's so hard for me to even put the hard, ugly pieces of my story out there. But Lord have no mercy, I've got a lot of them. I could write an entire book, but I don't share it. And so one of my biggest things that I got was literally, get out of your own way and share your story. Be vulnerable, share it and share it and share it again, because it may be the fifth time that you shared it. The right person at the right time came across that piece of your story that you were broken and that you were struggling, because you got out of your comfort zone and you shared it. That was the moment that they reach out to you, because that was the moment that they needed to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Share it again. You know, this was a piece that I think it was Brittany Beck that said this. She said, teach from your scars that you have overcome. You guys, we all have trauma in your life. We all have things. You guys, your trauma is the things that you're walking through, or that maybe it's stuff you have walked through in the past, is somebody else's survival guide. And again, that's why it's so incredibly important for you to put yourself out there with whatever what you want to share. I mean, I know it's hard to get personal, maybe share all the nitty gritty. I mean, but it's powerful. It's also part of healing. Holly mentioned healing. Like, a lot of us have stuff. We have trauma. We have PTSD from all kinds of things, you know, from other pieces of this industry, like all kinds of things. Obviously, those of you guys in the military life, like that's a whole different kind, you know, that I can't even imagine. But your trauma that you've walked through is somebody else's survival guide. And we do a massive disservice when we just share the unicorns and the rainbows and the pretty stuff and the parts where we're winning. Don't just share that, share the ugly side of it. Because I can't remember her name. I think her name was Rachel Jones, I think, but something that she said really stood out to me on her stage. And she said, guys, I'm not okay, but I'm here. And I said I would share, and I'm share. And she said this on stage. She just lost her dad tragically a month before getting on stage. And she teared up. There was a lot of tears over the entire thing. But you guys, sharing your story, again, it's somebody else's survival guide. Getting out there, showing the not so pretty stuff is going to be the most relatable parts. And that's where you're going to really change lives. And that's where you're going to attract the people that you want in your team. It's not the unicorns and rainbows and the people that are ranking up and hitting this and hitting that. It's the ugly pieces of it, and that you're human and we're not perfect. And it's your superpower, y'all. That's where you're going to attract your tribe. And you can still be broken and still show up. And that lady, Rachel, on stage proved that. You can still be in a broken season of your life right now and show up and be, honestly, probably impact more people than those of us that aren't in a broken season of our life. So get out there and get uncomfortable. And the last part that I actually put on my notes, and I'll turn it back over, is, well, actually I had two pieces, but I'll go short. Like, I think this was Adrienne Watley that said this. She was like, we've got to stop comparing ourselves to those people on stage. We have the most humble leaders. The top income earners here are some of the most humble people I've ever met in my entire life. And we have the choice to look at someone else that's at a level we want to be, and how are we going to react to their success? Are we going to learn from their success? Or are we going to have a pity party because we're not where they are and we're going to compare ourselves? Like, look at where they are, and that is look at it as a learning lesson. I know Glenn is so good at this, and I used to suck at this, but I've gotten so much better. It's like, somebody that is where I want to be, I want to get in their inbox and find out how in the heck they're doing it. I'm not going to sit back and put them on a pedestal. I think that was Adrienne Watley that said that, or somebody did. Like, stop putting people in places that you're not on pedestals. They're people just like us. Their moms just like us. They struggle just like us. So many of them are struggling, uncomfortable in their own skin because they're overweight and different things, but they shared that. They were open, they were vulnerable. So stop putting people on pedestal, learn from them. Don't compare, look at it as a life lesson. And the last thing I'm going to say, I'll turn it back over to you, Glenn, or Aaron, or whoever's speaking. Seeing so many of our team walk on stage like made me emotional, because I remember when Aaron and I said we were going to do this again. I was not going to do this and be the only one winning. I've been there before. I don't want to go on trips by myself. I don't want to go on stage by myself. I don't want to be the only one getting shouted out. So many people getting to walk to stage. Like, it gives me chills even saying that out loud. Like, all of y'all are winning. It doesn't matter if you're an independent brand partner, walk the stage, or you're a senior brand partner, walk the stage. It doesn't matter. Everybody got to walk the stage. And that was probably one of the highlights of the night. So I'll shut up and I'll turn it over. See the adapt. This is what it does. Right, Glenn, all yours.
All right. Well, Aaron, you're gonna speak, right?
Yeah, you want me to speak real quick?
Yeah, I'll have you go, and then I'll close out with some housekeeping stuff. Y'all pretty much covered everything. Y'all are freaking incredible. With that being said, I'll let Coach Aaron share some of his thunder.
Yeah, my gosh, I feel so bad, you guys. I just got a bad phone call right now. I think one of my aunts might be passing away. I was like, dang it, why did I pick up that call? Sometimes that happens though, right? That's life. So I just reached out to my cousin and I'm trying to hear back of if she's headed to the hospital or go see what's going on with her mom. But that's life. So I wasn't gonna hop off here and not share what I got from this weekend. So I will say what I got from this weekend. Oh man, I this was like I think this was my 11th conference I've ever been at, and y'all, like I've shared this story so many times. I had a horrible year last year. Like I mean, I know people are like, oh, you did good. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Basically quit on myself right after May. Like we went to Dominican Republic, I never came back. like, and so going into this conference, I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't. I honestly had no idea what to expect. I didn't go with the same mentality I went into last conference at all. But what I got from this, and this was a huge takeaway, is this is a family company. My son was there the first night, and everybody just loved on my son. And that meant, like as a parent, I never had that opportunity with any of my other company and any conferences. Our kids weren't allowed. And I don't think people understand how powerful that is because most of us do this for our kids, right? Like this, like raise your hand if you do this for your kids. Like if kids are part of your why, right? Imagine being told your kids can't be able to participate in your why. It doesn't feel right. And so to have not only my son was able to be loved on by everybody, but he was welcomed. And that's huge. And then the second thing is Saturday night when my wife came by and surprised everybody, she was welcomed. Y'all like Aspen welcomed her. Everybody welcomed the whole team. All you guys welcomed her. That's huge. Like y'all, like my wife's not in the business. My wife, like she hates network marketing because of what happened with our first company. She despises the industry, but yet she came and showed up and she was loved on. And I sat down, I watched her, and I'm like, ooh, you got that little twinkle in your eyes. You're getting a little excited. You're about to take over, and I'm about to take a step back, and you're gonna rock this business. But no, all jokes aside, I was so excited that she was like happy to be there. And that meant a lot to me because everybody loved on her. And it was like, hey, you're welcomed here. And she kept joking around saying, he just keeps me in the basement. I'm like, I didn't know we had a basement, but cool, I do. I keep you in the basement, even though the basement I didn't know we had. But it's just that family. And I think the biggest thing I got and the biggest takeaway I got is I felt God there. Like I don't know how you can explain that. You guys, I put my faith out there. I should put it more out there. I don't put it enough out there. Like Angela says, something we don't put enough of ourselves out there. I felt it. Like I walked in that room and I'm like, I feel this. And I think we say so many times that this is a faith-based company, but if you were in that room, you felt that presence. And I can't explain it. I just can't explain it. Like I know when people say, "Man, I heard God talking to me," I'm like, "Really? What you hear?" Because I don't know what they heard, right? I can't explain God in the presence in that room, and I'm like, this is really a faith-based company. Like people, we can't just say that and not believe it. Like y'all, I felt the presence there, and I'm like, my goodness, like God, I understand what you want me here for. And what my biggest takeaway was, I walked into conference not knowing what my purpose was in this business anymore. I got lost. And that happens, you guys. Like some of y'all have been here for months, years, weeks, and you tend to lose your purpose over time. Something happens in the industry to where it pulls you away and you start to think, why am I even doing this? Like, what's the point of me even doing this? Am I still happy doing network marketing? Am I still happy sending messages? Am I still happy getting no's? Am I still happy when somebody ghosts me after I sent them some samples, right? Like after a while, you're like, am I still even happy doing this? Am I happy doing the actual work? And I had to walk into conference knowing my purpose. When I heard those stories, and I was around every single person over these past few days, I thought, this is my purpose. My whole purpose is to change somebody's life, to introduce somebody to this opportunity or to this product or both. But this is my purpose. God didn't guide me here for no reason. God brought me here for a reason, the same way He brought each and every one of you guys here for a reason. I left there like, I know my purpose and I am ready to run. But it's not like the run where you run after a conference. It's to run long term, meaning I'm not going to sprint because I can't sprint anymore, you guys, but I'm going to run at a pace that's going to last to the next conference. And then I'm going to get excited again and bottle that up. And I'm running again to the next conference. Why? Because I know now I'm here for a reason. I hope each and every one of you guys that were part of it, or even if you couldn't make it, you can literally walk away from saying, I know what I'm here for. Somebody needs this product more than I do. Somebody needs this business more than I do. There's somebody out there right now who I'm so scared to reach out to who is praying for an extra income opportunity. And that message can be your sent. That can be what God wanted you to send. God wanted you to be that messenger, and you are that deliverer, you guys. You got what I'm saying? So keep that in the back of your head. Like when everybody that was at this conference, just know your purpose is much bigger than just making $200 or making $300 or making $500. It is to change somebody's life, because somebody had the courage to reach out and message you. And now it's your job to do the exact same. Have that same courage and reach out and send somebody a message. And let me tell you guys something. I told Angela no 4 times. Y'all, 4 times. I didn't tell her no once. I told her no 4 times. And I've known this woman pretty much my adult life. I told her no 4 times. If she would have gave up on me on that first no, I can't even imagine where my life would be at currently right now. So the reason why I'm sharing that with you guys is don't be afraid to follow up with somebody. Don't be afraid to reach out to somebody you're scared to talk to. Don't be afraid to change the life that God has meant for you to change. Now you got a bigger purpose. Now you got a bigger reason. So go ahead and take what you got from conference, or feed. If you didn't go to conference, feed off the energy of everyone else, because everybody's on this adapt and everybody's shrooming right now. So go ahead and take that energy that you're feeding off of someone else and let them help you change somebody's life. Stop trying to do it by yourself. And last but not least, if you have felt like you failed over the last 6 months or a year or weeks or whatever the case may be, just know you're not alone. You're not alone. So many of us have failed, but the best part about this is we get to rise up together. If there's anything I got from this final piece of conference is I cried, y'all. Like whatever pain she pulled out of me, I bawled. I bawled because I remember sitting 12 years ago before network marketing. I was in my closet crying like, God, I know you did not have me go through Iraq. I know you didn't have me go through war just to be where I'm currently at. And she pulled that out of me, y'all. Like I haven't thought about that memory in so long. And I thought to myself, my goodness, I was bawling. I'm sitting there like this, like hoping nobody look at me like, man, there ain't no allergies going on here. I was bawling, sitting at the chair. She's sharing this, what Brittany was sharing, because I pulled that pain out. But that pain was needed because I remember 12 years ago before network marketing, I was single, I was away from my kids, and I was broke, and I was busted. I'm sitting in my closet crying, crawled in a little mini ball, bawling my eyes out, you guys. So understand we all have a story. Understand we all have a pain point. Let that pain fuel you for your passion and for your purpose in this business. So Glenn, I'm going to swing it back your way. I am starving, y'all. Like I got to eat. So appreciate you guys. Love y'all so much. God bless you guys. You ever need anything, just know, send a message. We're all here. Let's lift each other up. One team, one dream. Let's take Bravenly to the top. All right, Glenn, I'm going to swing it back your way.
Thank you, brother. Man, doesn't he make you want to sign up all over again, y'all? Thank you, Coach Aaron. Holy cow, dude, that was fire. I know I only have like a few minutes left, but man, all of y'all have just crushed it tonight. I'm going to try to go as fast as I can. If y'all can, just please bear with me. We started a couple of minutes late. So, man, thank you guys for sharing. So I'm just going to share a couple of the notes I took and then some housekeeping notes, just some basic stuff. So I love, Todd said, make it about them and not you. So many times when we're doing network marketing, like we try to sell, and we make it about us getting the sale and we don't make it about them. So many people talked about, making about the other person. They talked about providing, value, humor, inspiration, education, and stories on your social media. I think it's important that we don't just become a Bravenly infomercial. So I really love that. That's what I try to do on my social media is provide value. Picture your social media as like a Netflix show. You're like, what is Glenn going to post about next? What is Holly? Well, we know Holly's going to post about the shrooms next. So we'll probably be seeing pictures of our garden, but you always want people to tune into you. They need to get educated, get value, inspiration, humor, and all that good stuff. You know, one thing that I really got out of this weekend was become a professional storyteller. So many times, like, you know, we try to know it all and we try to give them all the facts. Really, all we got to do is tell stories. I mean, if I tell stories about what Holly said about the adapt, like, I guarantee I'm going to sell a whole bunch of adapt. Um, trust the process. I'm just going to kind of go fast because we're already about to, you know, be at our time limit. So trust the process. And I just want to say this. I've been in network marketing for 12 years and I shared this when I was on stage. Um, the first 2 years I was like this in network marketing. I had no experience, but I still like kick butt, but I wasn't a good coach and I made it about me. And so I wasn't making about other people yet, but then I crashed and you guys heard my story about how my 3rd year I was eating ramen noodles. I could have easily given up on network marketing, but that 4th year is when I had my first 6-figure income. So trust the process. If you're having a bad day, a bad week, or a bad month, or like Aaron said, from June on, he was having basically a bad year last year. Just trust the process and keep putting one foot in front of the other. All those news that told you, work really, like I think it was Reagan that said that, work really hard in the hard times, and that's going to pay you in the good times. So many times in October, December, and January, we stopped working our business just because it was bad. Then, when in the good months, March, April, May, June, and July, you're not going to have a good month because you gave up in the bad months. So trust the process. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. I really love when they said, your networks do not trust dabblers. Like, do y'all remember when they said that? So many of us have one pinky toe into network marketing. Your network can tell if you're a dabbler. If I go to your social media right now, will your network think you're a dabbler? Or they're going to think that you're all in. So people are going to want to join somebody who's all in, not a dabbler. So I want you guys to think about that. It says income provides choices. Dabbling doesn't provide income, right? So I thought that was super important. And here's another thing, y'all. What we do is, we don't want to be putting, graphics of the products on our social media. We want to generate interest. So if I hold up my mushroom coffee and I talk about what it does, I'm providing interest. Then they're going to reach out to me, right? So once that happens, it says generate interest for the purpose of plugging them into a system. I thought that was super important. Don't be a know-it-all. Once somebody reaches out to you, send them a video, add them to the group, add them to a 3-way chat. Build connections. People are buying you. I thought that was important. Y'all have already covered most of it, so I'm just, speeding through this thing. I want to talk about Joe and Naomi's story. Do you guys remember when Joe and Naomi got on stage? That was one of the times that I cried big time. Like, they shared that video, right before they joined Bravenly. If I caught this right, it looked like their house and a lot of their community caught on fire and burned to the ground, and they pretty much lost everything, right?
It was their sawmill.
Oh yeah, go ahead, share, Reagan.
No, I mean, all I wanted to say is it was a sawmill. And for those of you who aren't familiar with what a sawmill is, it's wood. So the sawmill caught on fire, which then spread like fire. I mean, yeah. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just want.
No, I needed help on that because at first I didn't know what all was catching on fire. But one little point before Joe and Naomi. So if you guys don't know who Joe and Naomi is, like, they're the top of the Amish pyramid. They're pretty much making like bank, like, who knows, $30,000 to $50,000 a month. They've only been here 10 months. Most of them don't have a telephone. I don't remember the guy's name that drove from Florida to Indiana, but I was trying to picture. Here's what in my first company, this was how hungry I was to get out of student loan debt and to quit struggling in my life. I would drive 30 minutes to deliver a cleanse to somebody. I drove 7 hours to do no-show mixers, or we call it sip and social. Like, I would drive there, they'd be all upset. I was doing anything and everything I could for my people. And like they said earlier, make it about the people, make it about everybody else. And so this guy, he drove all the way from Florida to Indiana to meet the Amish guy. And once he got there, and so that guy thought he was going to stay the night at his friend Joe's house. And Joe said, "Hey, you need to get out of here. You need to disappear." And so I could only imagine being the person that drove all the way to Indiana and then being told to disappear. And he said, well, I have to talk to my wife. And like he didn't hear from him. And the guy was like super scared and thought he was gonna have to drive 14 hours back to Florida. Well, finally he said, okay, man, you can come over. And so what I'm like, you don't need to drive from Florida to Indiana to like build your business. But if you're hungry and you have that desire to do more, be more, become more, I mean, I just flew to North Carolina to help Sarah. I flew to Georgia to help Holly. You know, I've flown to Minnesota to help Colleen and Chelsea. Like, what type of leaders, you know, are you going to be for your team? Like, and if you don't have the money, hey, I get it. Like, I use my points and my miles. But if that guy wouldn't have drove to Florida and took a chance on, or I'm sorry, to Indiana and took a chance on his friend, there wouldn't be that $50,000 a month organization. So I just throw that out there. You never know who's going to be your next, you know, shining star, your shining diamond. So I want to throw that in there. And these guys have no excuses. Like, again, you know, they took a 15-hour bus ride from from Indiana all the way to conference, and they had no cell phone, but they made no excuses and they showed up. They had no idea what they were getting themselves into. So, I guess that's about it. Like, again, y'all have already shared like all the nuggets, but I just want to say a couple things. Guys, if you haven't got the adapt, get the adapt. Make sure all of your network gets the adapt. Make sure they all take it with food, or else you could be seeing stars like Angela and some other people have seen today, and Renee. So make sure you take it with food. But the adapt, I feel like, is going to be a game changer. Like mushrooms is popping up on all of our social medias, like literally on every single platform. Make sure you're talking about it like crazy. I got people that haven't ordered in a year and a half that are ordering the adapt. Like they just love what they saw. You know, some people love they can take it later in the afternoon and there's no caffeine. So adapt is going to be a #1 seller, but it could be the gateway drug or supplement to get them to the next supplement. So I would literally go back to every single, didn't mean to say the word drug, but it's a shroom. You get it. But I would go back to every single brand partner that's ever been in your business or customer, even if they haven't ordered in a year, make sure you're telling them about the adapt. The other thing, I think our team has enrolled 5 brand partners today. So congratulations, team, on doing that. But we have between $50 and $200 in free products right now on the brand partner packages: the Adapt, the Lemon Lime Hydrate, and the On the Go Ignite. So please make sure you're sharing this with your audience. Like who knows when this chance is going to come by. Um, and I don't want to talk too much. We've already been on here too long. I will end with this, y'all. Kansas City, if you want to go to the next conference, it's July 18th and 19th. You heard some stories. You heard people that's never been to conference. You heard people that's been to many conferences. You've heard people that's been here from the very start of Bravenly. This past conference was the best one that we've had so far. The one in Kansas City is going to be just as incredible. I was always told in my first company, and we had what we call star legs. So I guess here you know you have to have your balance requirement. If you want your balance requirement in your organization, get 3 people from each leg of business. So if you got, you know, 1 team member, get 3 people from that team. Don't just come by yourself. But get to Kansas City. Tickets are only $159. They're going to go up to $179 by March 1st. So please get your tickets. People are going to do what you do. And I guess that's all I got because we're over time. Does anybody have anything else they want to add? I think we've been on here for a hot minute. Colleen or anybody else? Colleen, you want to say just 30 seconds of encouragement real quick? She's trying to unmute herself.
Yeah,
There
I'm
we go.
trying to. All right, so I guess what I have to say is, wow, this team is amazing. Everyone was so great. Like, I felt like it was a huge family. One of my biggest things was when I watched Aspen watch every picture that went up on stage, and she was wiping her tears. And that hit me big time. And then it was there the rest of the time. So, yeah, I'm emotional. That's me.
Thank you, Colleen. Guys, we have the best CEO on the planet. like times a million. I mean, I've been in companies where you see the CEO and the like from the nosebleed section. Like you don't get access to a CEO like this. And as our company grows, it's that's not gonna be an option. But she makes it a point to make everybody feel special. So we're very blessed, and I'm blessed to have all of you on our team. Thank you for all of you that shared tonight. Let's go out and crush the end of the month. I love you guys, and y'all have a good night.
Have a great night.
Bye, everybody.